Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome again to another segment, Straight Talk with Grover Thornton. This program is designed to inform, inspire, and to educate you on issues affecting our lives and how government impact our lives. And brother, are they impacting it today? This program is produced by our Black media, Mr. Julius Hall, President and CEO. And also I want to remind you that we have a radio going on now, station, Hot 2100. But this is just a fine, very soothing music. I must say today on this show that I have a very heavy heart today. I buried, along with her daughter, my last sister. My mother had 8 children, and 6 are now deceased. Only myself and my brother in Atlanta, we are the only ones still alive in the Thornton clan. And we'll be here until the Lord call us home. And our objective is still serving Him. We're living in some critical times. Now, I was reading an article where the gentleman said that these are challenging times that we're living in. Never in the history of this nation, which has always lied as far as I'm concerned, because it has never been a democracy. It has never been a democracy. We talked about democracy all over the world. We went to war 2 or 3 times defending other people, and yet over 10% of his own citizens were mistreated and not in the arena of justice, social justice, equality, and dignity in this nation. Things are a little better, but we're a long ways off. And I sit and think about our democracy and how things are happening with this man in charge of our government trying to establish a new order. The man wants to be a dictator, and he has a Supreme Court that allow him to do these type things without holding the rein on him, all because of politics, and the people suffer. Now look at some of the things that we're still talking about in this nation. Oh, before I say that, let me just show you this magazine, which I subscribe to, one of the magazines in the Nation magazine, because I read these articles, because when they're discussing things, I try to read to get more depth on what they're saying that I can talk to my audience about. And I was very impressed when I was reading this magazine the other night. I always look through, I don't read every article now. I look at the article that may be challenging to me that I can inform you, the public. And I look at this to say, I have not read this whole article, which I will talk about the next segment of my show. But this is out of Remembering King's Anti-War and Anti-Capitalistic Legacy. And it was about Martin Luther King, how his daddy changed his name. He was not born Martin Luther King Jr. His name was originally, and his daddy was Michael King Sr. and Michael King Jr. But his daddy was very impressed with this gentleman who was a German, who was a minister, and who belonged to the Catholic Church. And his name was Martin Luther. And Martin Luther had a different philosophy from the papacy, that the papacy is the Pope, that he was putting towards the people. Like, for instance, they believe in certain things like doing work to reach in heaven, and Mr. Luther's philosophy was having faith. And I'm going to try to read more on him that I can. But anyway, he was so impressed with this man. He visited sites with this man preaching and all of that, and his artifacts. And so he changed his name to Martin Luther King Sr. And he changed the junior name to Martin Luther King Jr. And I always believe that this was a man that was inspired. Not a perfect man. They tried, like Mr. Abernathy, one of his own people portrayed him. Not a perfect man. Because if we were perfect, God never would have sent Jesus in the first place. He sent him because we were imperfect. to try to have us to correct our lives. That's what his mission was. So I thought I'd just mention that to you. Now, as I'm moving to things that happen in government, this tariff business, it is still going on bad with Mr. Trump. Now, he's putting in 35% tariffs on Mexico. Now, what he did the other day and what he's proposing, as he's already done it, he keeps changing dates. But what he's proposing to do to Brazil, which is the most terrible thing I think that can happen with any national government, he's dipping himself into those people's national election. His friend, who was one of his allies, lost the election by the Brazilian people. So he is punishing the people by imposing a 50% tariff, particularly on copper. So anything that's made with copper that comes into the United States, then when it gets to the manufacturer, he has to pay. So what does he do? Whatever item copper is used on, he raises the price. And when he raises the price, then the tax go up. If you got a 7% tax like in Georgia, and the price go up on the product, that means you have to pay more tax. So really, when the tariffs are nothing but a tax on the American people. That's why we're trying to explain that to you all how that works. And that's what he's doing. Getting involved in another country's election. That's terrible. What is this man going to do? This man has no decency. To me, he is the epitome of the devil. He is the epitome of the devil. And all of you people who voted for him, I don't have no sympathy for you. Now you see what you voted for. He's cutting everything, cutting all his wages. The governor of Kentucky was on the television on Mr. Sharpton's show yesterday. And what did he say? I mean, today's Saturday, 5 o'clock. But he said this last week too, on a Morning Joe show I saw. He is the governor of Kentucky. He said all the hospitals in the rural areas in this state will have to close because they were functioning and being supported by Medicaid. And he's doing this drastic cut on Medicaid. These hospitals will have to close. And you have sick people in these hospitals. Where are these people going? Nursing homes. That's where my sister was that died last week, buried last week. Nursing homes going to have to close. Where are these sick people going? 20,000 people in Kentucky will lose their jobs. 20,000 people. So all you people who voted for him, a lot of you people going to suffer because you got children on food stamps, going to SNAP. And what the people don't understand, they're getting all the people on food stamps. They don't get food stamps. But when the people buy the merchandise from the grocery stores, that's helping the manufacturers. Don't you see? If you buy a bunch of cans of tomatoes, the company that produces cans of tomatoes, they have to replenish them. So you're really helping the manufacturers. It's a vicious circle. It goes round and round and round, helping one another. But this man, now like I told my friend, I said, now listen to me real well, from an economic point of view. If the nations of the world, the industrial countries of the world, the United States, France, Britain, Germany, Japan, China, if we were having a world recession and everybody had to cut back drastically and the people have to make one tremendous sacrifice, remember we could understand that. But this man is doing all this so that he can give the rich people who are already rich more money. That's the most ridiculous thing I heard in my life. All these suffering people. And when you voted for him, you voted to cause this suffering. Now, I bet many of you watching right today, you had voted for Ms. Harris. You'd had your jobs. You would not have these cuts in Medicaid. Now, also, he's a racist. I don't care what nobody say, the man is racist. This man has 34 felons. 34, not 4, 34 felons, convicted felons. And if President Obama had just one, You know what they'd have been saying? Every newspaper, we don't want no man with no a felon. We don't want no man that died of it, a criminal. This had never happened in America before. They overlooked all of that. This man paid over $80,000 to sleep with a woman and paid her not to talk about it. This man has 34 felons. This man lied about the election was stolen. This man has already got a charge against him in the court on raping a woman. All of that. And y'all put this evil man in office. Now you're paying a price for it. He lied to you. He lied. You should have known he was going to lie, and he kept telling you, don't vote for this man. This man is cruel. Suffering people, babies, toddlers. And President Bush had the American food going on, all the sacks of flour and stuff to feed the people in Africa. A lot of countries now. Now, let me tell you, that doesn't mean every country in Africa is starving now. Some parts of the country, in particular where this father, that Bush was sending all this food, he cut that off. God gonna punish him severely. Y'all watch what I tell you. I may be dead like my sister, but God gonna bring him down like he brought down those people during biblical time. Mark my word. And I'm predicting he will never make a 4 years. I'm predicting that. God gonna bring him down. I pray to God every day, bring this evil man down. Everything he do in the cut. What did he do? He goes to take a bus from Martin Luther King out of the Oval Office. I'm trying to find this article with Pictures magazine. I don't know whether I threw it away or what. But his mother had him all ducked down in the Ku Klux outfit. And when they show my audience that, but I just can't find the picture. I said, Lord, I don't know whether I threw it away or not. But he and his mother were going to a Ku Klux Klan affair. Now, the young man has been rooted in hatred. He's been rooted in, that's all the Klan's ever been in his life, was an organization of hate. So what do you expect from him? The NAACP had to sue his dad in New York, in the North of all places, because he would not let African Americans rent his apartment buildings. Rooted in hate. I don't know. It's pitiful. Never dreamed. Segregation was the worst thing I've ever dreamed as a young man. We had to endure. The generations of suffering has alleviated that. The sacrifice that black folk paid with the shedding of blood, like in voting. When you go there and vote, it's soaked in the blood of those three young men, a Jewish boy, a black boy, and a white young man in Mississippi. When the college students lots of drive for African Americans to vote. We look at this woman for Fannie Mae Hayman, that woman in the Delta, Mississippi, sharecropper, organizing people to register and vote. Life threat. She was beaten. Oh my God, this country has been terrible in a lot of ways. And when you think, I sit down and think about Thomas Jefferson, I read so much of the Declaration of Independence, and one of the major things in that document is we're endowed by our Creator with certain inalienable rights, among them life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And Thomas Jefferson had 200 slaves. Why didn't he put something in to eradicate slavery? A fight against slavery. I had not read anything. He fought against slavery. Now I might overlook some things. I have never read anything. And he had this black woman, his mistress. He had children from her, Sally Hemings. And everywhere Jefferson went, he took her all of Europe and every place else. He was in love with the woman. All these things we had to deal with as African-American people. And you would think that this man would take Dr. King's bus out of the Oval Office. Now he's talking about too many holidays. He never said a word about June 10th. No, he never said anything about that. Not a word. Most presidents made a statement about the June 10th, that thing, but not him. And African America was in slavery. Lincoln already signed the Emancipation Proclamation. The general went by there in Galveston, Texas, and told the people that they were free. They had already been free since 1865. They worked over 2 years or something for nothing. And that Lincoln said these words, 250 years of unacquitted toil. No money, We set the gold standard for the rich white people on the labels of black people. And then they want to say when black people get little food stamps or black folk get little help, so and so and so. Black folk with this, that, Lord, and all that. And black folk made all kinds of contributions. Like I was reading the other night, this nation they've been in, they cleared the swamps long before the Mayflower. All of that black people did. And then he gave his life for this country. First man died in the American Revolution was a black man, Crispus Attucks. Attucks. Crispus. Crispus. Crispus Attucks in Massachusetts. First man died in the American Revolution was a black man. And then that man want to take down in Florida, want to take all the books out of the schools where black kids can learn about the heritage of responsibility and great things of black people. A lot of inventions made by black people you are using right now. You look at that Capitol, every day you see that Capitol on top of that, some black man put that black statue up on top of that Capitol. He created that. He was a slave. And his master went to the government and said, I really need to put something on that building. I got somebody can do it. And he charged the money. He gave the black man a little bit of the money. He kept most of it anyway, but that's been up there since the 1800s. Black folk did a lot. Like the blood transfusion, the blood bank, created by a black man, Charles Drew. And yet they say they want to put down black people. I spoke to a group of white kids once from Oklahoma. Ms. Gunn had me speak to them and on Black history. And when I told them, I said, everybody has ridden in a car. And you're driving and you come to a red light, you put your foot on the brakes and stop the car. I said, you know who invented the red light? A black man named Morgan. And so the white man was with them. He grabbed his cell phone and he said, hey, right here, Mr. Harvey. Here he is right here, Mr. Thorton. Here he is here. And showed the white kids this black man. I said, it's only one thing that we talked about black folk. A simple thing, a black person, like I said last month, created a broom, a dustpan, air conditioner. But we don't get the credit for all these things, but you're enjoying these things. And I never can understand why you don't love a man because of the color of his skin. All men are made the same way God made man. And it's the evil of the persons and the governments of this nation and of the world. They want to put down the Jewish people because God blessed the Jewish people. And like I told a white fellow the other day, I said, but you talk about all that mess going on there over in the Middle East, just read one thing. You got a Bible, you turn to Genesis, the 2nd chapter in God's word, and you see what God gave Abram. He wasn't Abraham at that time. He was Abram, a just man. Not a perfect man, but a just man. Like I said, if we were perfect, God never would have sent Jesus. Thank God for him. So these are the things we have to deal with: people in power and money. You know, my brother's daughter's husband, Al, he doesn't say money. He says it's the color green. That's what killed Dr. King. I got a book in my bookcase in my den, and the man talked about King with the same Vietnam War I told you. Remember, King's anti-war and anti-capitalist legacy. Dr. King did all that walking and leading demonstrations, all in the front. They didn't kill him then until he started talking about that war, millions and millions of dollars going out to the nation and people starving, couldn't make a decent living. You know, this hand-me-down business with this economic system they have supposed to be passing down, coming down to people. It went to the rich people, not poor people. And I know we got to have poor people. Jesus told you that the poor you'll have with your own ways. But he didn't say to have all this suffering he could do. He had made man prosper, give man all kind of stuff. You take the farmers. Now, let me tell you this here about this border situation. My view is this. Everybody entitled to their own view. Every criminal who's been convicted in this nation shall be put out of this country. Now, Herman Talmadge was one of the worst people you ever heard of. And Herman Talmadge said that I got to agree with him on this one point. We cannot be the Santa Claus of the world. And that's what America has been doing, being the Santa Claus. Now, I'm going to take a little 1 minute break just for a minute, and I'll be right back.
Savannah, are you looking for some of the best Southern soul food? Then check out Kim's Cafe at 714 MLK Boulevard. The food is so good, you'll think that your mother cooked it. Located in the heart of Savannah, Kim's has a menu that includes breakfast anytime, lunch when you need it, and dinner so you won't have to cook when you get home. They also cater all types of events and can host your reserved event at the restaurant. Come see what everyone has been raving about. Great food, great atmosphere, and a great time. Kim's Cafe, 714 MLK Boulevard in beautiful downtown Savannah.
Hey, Fort Wentworth, Savannah, Georgia, surrounding counties. I don't know if y'all know, but y'all got a good man that's trying to do good things for y'all city. Mr. Rufus Bright. Y'all need to go ahead and re-elect him because he's already been in office. But I don't know if y'all know all the good things and wonderful things he's been doing for the city. I don't know if y'all know who I am, but I'm Big Bro Dre. This is the Fan First production. You know what I mean? I want to let y'all know that this has been brought to you by the committee to elect Rufus Bright for City Council of Fort Wentworth in Savannah, Georgia. But y'all need to tap in and tune in, you know what I mean, and keep following him and vote for him. Get out to those polls, you know what I'm saying? Get ready, you know what I mean? Don't hold back. Don't sit there and waste no time. Run to them polls and make sure you go and run and vote for Mr. Rufus Bright.
Vote for Rufus Bright. Vote for Rufus Bright. Vote for Rufus Bright. Vote for Rufus Bright. You want to see some brighter days? Vote for Rufus Bright. You want somebody who knows the way? Vote for Rufus Bright.
All right, thank you. I'm back again here. Happy to have you listening. Straight talk, and I try to tell people things that are going on in our nation and in our world, and try to explain some of the things that people may not quite understand. Now let's look at what's going on. Like was on the news yesterday about the farmers. The farmers are catching the devil, trying to get people to harvest these crops. Now, just tell you like this, white folk and black men are not going in no fields and pick no butter beans and no peas or nothing like that. But these migrant people will do that. I'm not for nobody being criminals. Get the criminals out of here. They're not supposed to be here. But the decent people here, the undocumented people should be with you. But the documented people, they ought to set up a program. Once they've been checked, not just throw anybody in jail like they sit that man over there in Salvador, wherever it was, and the coach said, get this man back. They're trumping them, they don't want to get him back, and they finally had to get this man back. And if he try him, he's entitled to go to a court, and if he's convicted, then he go to jail. He's supposed to have justice. That's what this nation is built on. And Mr. Trump is a criminal. He the one ought to be in jail. 34 felons. And y'all like that ain't so. But I bet you wish you hadn't voted for him now. You lost your homes, you lost your jobs, you lost your homes, everything. You lost your automobiles. You can't, listen, you cannot pay no light bill, no water bill, no gas bill, no insurance, no car note, or nothing, or no unemployment. And that only lasts for a few weeks at a time. All because you had to have that evil man. That man, but they don't talk about that. That's what got me. Man, with a background like that, like he hadn't done anything. 34 felons. 34. Now, the farmers need these people to work. And I always say they ought to set up some program where the people had to, whatever high, I don't know what the regulation is for a person to become a citizen. All I know is it can be naturalized. I don't know what the procedure is, but they ought to set up a procedure And all these people can go to classes and whatever, and then they can become citizens. This country is known as a melting pot. We have all races of people, races of people here. Even the Italians caught the devil when they came in this nation. Even the Jewish people catch the devil, still catching it. But you will never destroy Israel, never, unless you destroy God. All I ask you to do is read the 2nd chapter of Genesis, and you see who God gave that land to. Don't take my word for it. Read the scriptures. Now, and these farmers got to have workers. And then this tariff business has caused the farmers to lose millions of dollars. They've set their merchandise and they're sitting in docks and warehouses rotting. There's hardly no ships. Very few ships are coming because of this tariff business. These people are not going to pay, these countries pay all this high tariff to bring stuff into the country. And then, like I say, when they bring it to the ports, the people have the ordering got to pick them up, and they got to pay. And so they got to get the investment. So they got to raise the price. And when they raise the price, you got to pay the tax. Sleep it up my mind. If you got something for $100 and that's $7 and he doubled it, that's $14 worth of tax. So the tariff hurts the American people. And I don't see how Mr. Trump doesn't see that. All he wants to do is to reward all those people who give millions and millions of dollars to help him get elected. And he knew, the American people knew, they were lying. But they never want a woman president. Personally, I'm on the Democratic committee. I voted for her, but I know she couldn't win, as I said before. If they didn't want the white woman, Ms. Clinton, you ought to know they didn't want no black woman president. The rest of my case on that. I don't know why Mr. Biden picked her in the first place. She's qualified now. The lady was the Attorney General for the whole state of California, biggest state in the union. She was Attorney General. She was very, very capable. No question. You saw that from all the campaigning, how capable she is. But America, for some reason, does not want a woman president. All the presidents we've had, all through from the early 1700s up until this 21st century, they never want a woman president. But you voted for him, and you see what you got. He lied, he'll stop the war. Well, I've been going on now how many months now? He gonna bring down the cost of food. And man, never look at no bringing down no cost. And he knows this, that he will never run for president again, and nothing you can do to get him out of there. Only God got to move him. And now you just watch. But the fact I'm saying is this: you made that error, you're paying the price for it. So how can you do? What's the solution to this? How we can eradicate this situation? How can we improve this situation? By getting out next year and midterm and vote. Get off your backsides and get out and vote. Vote, 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 vote. Now there's a way. So, some of this could be, I don't, they got to really have the votes to do it. But I know it can be done. If we had enough Democrats, everybody is a Republican, they ought to get rid of him. Now there's that Judge Hawley. He says he's against the cut to Medicaid, and then he turned around and he voted for it. I don't understand that. How can you be for something and then against it? As powerful as God is, the creator of the universe, he cannot be for something and against it at the same time. And he's the creator. Never heard such thing. Get out and vote. Now, here's what can really happen. I'm looking for them to say this as we move towards the midterm. And this is this. But you got to have enough votes to do it. They can institute, just give you an example. They can install one of those departments that he dismantled. Send it to him. He vetoes it. He has so many days the Constitution says to whether he can sign. If he does not sign in a certain number of days, it already becomes law. And then if you veto it, you have enough Democrats will override his veto. And we can use that on every department that he dismantled and get a lot of these people back to work experiencing them jobs. That can happen. But you got to have the vote. You got to get rid of all the Republicans. You got to have a total Democrat control in the House and in the Senate. See, the Constitution says all the money matters must start and originate in the House of Representatives. That's why he was able to do all that, because he had all those people who were afraid of him. Now that Senator Tellus, or Jeff Tellus, I think that's the name. He knew Trump was going to be against him, so he was not going to run again, and that's why he condemned that beautiful budget, because he knew if he had stayed in there, Trump would have been on him day and night to do everything to wreck him all he could. So he resigned from the Senate, resigned from it, whatever, and he criticized that budget. He criticized that budget very, very much so. That's what he did. And now I'm going to show you about, they say this whole thing that he's talking about doing costing over $300 billion. All the cuts and all that he's costing. All of this to give rich people a tax cut. Give rich people a tax cut. It's pitiful. Babies dying. It's bad enough to see people in those countries dying from disease and then dying from starvation. That's compounded. Dying from starvation. You got to see your child dying from starvation. Awful. All because of an evil man. This man, as that folks stated, I tell him to his face, you are the epitome of the devil, and God's going to bring you down. God is going to bring you down. And you see it. Now, I want to say something with the court rule today, yesterday one. That's Supreme Court. I can't understand it. They rule, which is he's over the federal government. He's not over state government. Like he sent all those troops into California. He only supposed to send the troops into California if the governor requests. If there was an uprising and the governor, National Guards cannot handle it, then he contacts the president. I cannot handle this. You got to send some federal troops in here. But he took upon, he's a dictator. They got that in the court. And if that ran up the Supreme Court will find a reason to justify him doing that. And the only way that the president can just send troops in if a court order has been not carried out by the governor, like they did Wallace. Like Eisenhower had to federalize the troops. The National Guard, they federalized them to carry out a court order. If you don't have a court, somebody got to make the decision. So we have a system of laws and order. And the court said, you got to do this, you got to do that. And he even violated the courts. This is the evil man. But his end will come to an end. You watch what I tell you. That's all I'm going to tell you. So you watch it. So all these things that they do in the court rule today, that he has the right to, because he is over the federal government, so he has a right to terminate jobs on the federal level. They rule that. However, like the lady was explaining today, Ms. Eichels was explaining today, the NAACP, one of the NAACP lawyers, and she was explaining that, however, there's certain ramifications of that. Maybe he can't say, I'm over there, but I can't have, I'm going to follow the black people. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. These are things that have to be worked out in the court. But overall, he got the authority to do that. But he cannot just arbitrarily do this or do that. Now let's look at this one right here. This is this birthright mess. This man he's trying to overturn this 14th Amendment to the Constitution, ladies and gentlemen, was 14th Amendment was established and ratified in 1868 after Lincoln's death. Lincoln was killed in 1865. So the 13th Amendment did away with slavery forever in this nation. Trump would have slavery now if he could. 1868, the 13th Amendment did eradicate slavery, over with. Done. Forever. And the 14th Amendment, you remember I told you about Dred Scott when I talked to last month? And Dred Scott was in 1857. He was a slave, and he was owned by a doctor, and the doctor was in Missouri, and he got transferred what they call TDY, temporary duty in the Army. That's the abbreviation, because I was in the military. That's the abbreviation when you go, they send you to study something or do something. They call it TDY, temporary duty. So he was sent to Missouri. From Missouri to Illinois. So he took a slave with him. So the abolitionists all in the North filed a suit in the Supreme Court for Dred Scott. And Dred Scott's position was, since he was on free soil in Illinois, he ought to be a free man. He was there about a couple of years. And of course, the city came was very detrimental to him. Said, first place, he was property. He was owned by the doctor, number one. Number two, you were not a citizen of this nation, so you have no right to even bring no case to this court because you're not a citizen. And that's why, ladies and gentlemen, in 1868, the 14th Amendment to the Constitution was passed. And what it says with this, listen to me real well. I'll be trying to educate y'all on certain things, what's going on in the nation, so y'all know. All my people, they go. Don't read, you got to know what's going on. Here's what it says, and I want you to listen very much so. All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the United States and of the states wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which should abridge the privileges or the immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any persons of life, liberty, property, without the due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction, within the state where you are, equal protection of the law. Now, what is Trump trying to do? You hear this word? Look at the news sometime, what he's trying to do. He's trying to take out the birthright citizenship. He's now he's messing into the Constitution. That would never happen because let me tell you why. Let's say that they agree. We're going to take this out. It has to go and to be ratified by 3/4 of the states. And the other thing that is 33 or 34, whatever it is, 3/4 of 51. And that'll never happen. This man is trying to take the birthright. It says in him, if you're born in this country, you are a citizen. Now, here's what he's trying to say. Here's a woman from Mexico, not New Mexico, Mexico, other country. And she's in the state, undocumented. She's been in the country several years. And she has a baby. Well, that baby is a citizen. And that's what got Trump in the mess. Trump wants to take this part out of the Constitution. Never happened. So what you want to do? Put the mom out the country with the baby, and then he get grown and say, hey, I'm over in this other country. I was born in America. I was a citizen of America. That's what this says. This evil man. This evil man. This evil man. Now look at that tragic. This happened the other day, that water, that flooding happened over there in Texas. Killed those hundreds of people and children. My God, my friend was telling me how many gallons of water, so many hours or minutes of what, flood the people out. But you know what the man said on the TV the other day? Trump wants to cut in his budget. Wants to cut the monies away from the national weather people. And the man said on TV, at this time, and it's hurricane season. You see the thinking of this man? Then he wanted to get rid of FEMA. He wants to get rid of FEMA. When all these hurricanes and people lose everything, you remember, lost all things, people get their money for food they lost in the refrigerator, all of that. He wants to cut that away. What kind of man? This man has no compassion at all. None. He's an evil man. He's the epitome of the devil. And y'all will see him fall. Mark my word. Mark my word. This man is the epitome of the devil. And I'm not scared to say, I'll tell him to his face, if I had a chance, you are a epitome of the devil. You have no, look at the filthy word he used on national TV. You think Obama could have got away with that? That F word he used? Children, listen to the president. Listen, the president of the United States had high prestige, distinguished prestige. President of the United States. This man has, he has done a dirty trick to this office. He has brought filth to it. Maybe one day to get the dignity it had, once again, get him out of there. He's evil. He's the epitome. He's the epitome of evil. No question about it. Okay, I'm going to take another one in the bed. And I'm going to get on a terrible situation that happened here in this community. And I'm speaking out on it. I don't care who don't like it. I'm going to speak my piece about it. I have freedom of speech. And I'm not going to do anything. If nobody can sue me for breaking nobody down, I'm going to speak as a citizen. And that is about all this mess went on at Overthought Mall the other day. It is despicable. It's disgraceful. And I'm glad they're charging them as grown people. That lady would die. That lady would die. My son's wife is a good friend of her daughter. And her daughter is very broken over that. These boys around the mall shooting. Bullets don't know anybody. Straight bullet. Oh my God. Personally, let me take this 1 minute. And I got to speak on this issue here. I got it.
Need your garments cleaned with care and with a professional touch? Then bring them to One Price Cleaners in Garden City at the Old Farmers Market on Highway 80. Service you can count on.
Go to the legislature, pass a bill, any gang, get anybody convicted. I'm ready back. I'm back.
Yes. Mm-hmm. You're back. You're back.
Huh?
You're back.
All right, I'm back now. A little minute to give them thought a little rest. And that is back on this evil situation happened here in our city. I had a friend of mine live in Atlanta and called me. She said, "What is that going on in Overthought Mall? Y'all like in the West?" Disgraceful. Shooting could have killed anybody. Now, I talked to one of my relatives. He used to be a judge. He's a lawyer. And I asked him, I said, "What do you think about these boys could be charged?" And that woman had a pacemaker. She ran or something. She died. That's difficult. That would be a difficult case. Maybe, who knows? Only God knows whether the pacemaker about to go out immediately. We don't know that. But we know this, that they ought to be charged with manslaughter or something. If some lady had to get her baby out the stroller or the carrying into a place, they ought to be, listen to me. If I was on that jury, I'm trying to reach Mr. Gilliard, and I'm going to meet every person on our delegation next week. I'm going to try to talk with them. Come January, they ought to sponsor a bill that anybody get convicted of connection with a gang, automatic, 15 to 20 years in prison. We got to break that up. Somebody told me there are 200 gangs in Savannah. 200 gangs. Can't they do something with their lives other than be destructive? You can't put that on the parents. You got a lot of good parents. Parents can't follow you everywhere you go. But they used to 70 years ago, it's 10 o'clock, do you know where your children are? A lot of them don't even know where they are 10 o'clock at night. So many times they're not in the place where they ought to be. Tell you the truth about it. But we got to do something. That is despicable. It's a dark cast on the black community. It's disgraceful. Walk around here with guns. Terrible. I don't know what to say about our people. Some of them. Walking, shooting. They could have killed anybody in that mall. And that got to come to an end. And I'm speaking out on that. I don't care. I go anywhere and speak out on it. They ought to get plenty of time in jail, and they think what they did. Going in a public place, just shooting. Like we're in the West. Old West used to be without any law and order. Everybody's life. You could have been killed. Who listened to me? Somebody in your family. Just like that young lady I was just telling you about. Her mother gone. We don't know whether that had to do anything to do with it or not. But she was running. I hope there's some way they can convict them. They'll never see the light of day. Going someplace out with guns. And I guarantee you this here. I guarantee you. They don't have a dime to get a lawyer. I bet you the guy ain't got a quarter. We have to try to get some state job, free lawyer. Because the Constitution says you got to have a lawyer. You know, I got to tell you the truth about it. I went to court last week. You tried to help. Stole my car. Stole my Lexus car for almost 3 days. And I tried to help him. Went to court the other day, and they had him locked up for another misdemeanor. But I go back to court on August the 15th, Lord's willing. And that's going to get sent to a higher court. How you got? Then why did you do that to me? Why did you take my car, boy? I had something to do. That's what he said to me. But I got something to do too. I'm going to put you behind in prison. What I'm going to do, have my blood pressure to go up and all. With one more payment to pay on my car, my Lexus, I've been through with it. He could have destroyed it. I had him working around my yard trying to give him a little change to work. He was referred to me. Last year he did a beautiful job, putting pictures up on my wall in my office on civil rights and all of that. I didn't even know him. Then I kind of found out his daddy was a fine man in this community. He's deceased now. Did that. He had the right to do that when I'm sleeping. He still come back and he steals my car. What is wrong with our young people? What is wrong with them? The modern young people. When I was coming up, 15 and 20 of us, 30 of us be at the NAACP Youth Council meeting. After the meeting, we all go home. What's wrong with the young people today? The drugs. My old 2 boys got messed up in that mess, and I had to bust them out of it. Falling for that white man mess. Get a few dollars a day, you ain't got a quarter. Drugs are ruining our nation. And like they said, I don't have no proof of it, but they always said years ago that during when Reagan was president, we had all that stuff going down in South America with the down in, I can't call this guy's name, but the United States government would not support what was going down in there. So the Reagan administration allegedly took drugs out in Los Angeles, California, to raise money to buy weapons for the Centauros or whoever they were. But he was never convicted of that in Congress. I guess because he was so powerful against the Russians. But he got away with that. Took drugs in California. And all the black guys out there in Los Angeles bought it. Those drugs would ruin our country. Ruin black people. You got to tell you, why would I go there and work out there? I can sell drugs and make $1,000 in a week. Why should I go there and work for $12 an hour? And I can sell drugs. Right here. What about several years ago? Right here down the pole. It was on the television, WTOC. Some people go, it's on, they keep the record. A lot of kilos of drugs came down right down in that port. And the federal people took it. Who was it coming to? Somebody knowing this city who was coming to. Destroying this city. And our people. And our children. That same port down there had the drugs that come into this city. You never heard no more of it. Other than on the TV, WTOC, these drugs were coming to the port. Who picked it up? Who was it assigned to? You'd be surprised. People in high places. Destroying their communities. For like my cousin say, my brother's wife, I would say, for the color green. Sacrificing you. Destroying our community. Personally, my time in the earth ain't long. I'm 92 years old in November. God ain't gonna let me live too much longer. But as long as I do live, I want to try to make a difference. I did that for over 70 years in this community, working on Mr. W. Law in that board for 13 years, laying in the streets. Could have got driven over by a car. Fight for justice. Sat in and crested. Man came out and spit at me. They didn't worry me. Kept my camera, keeping people out the boycott, trying to make these white folk highbrow with black girls who qualified to work. Police put me in the car to take me to jail. When anybody could take me to jail, when they called down to the dispatcher, she called back and said, well, he can't arrest him because he got a camera unless he was on a military base. Anything. Keep the status quo. Want to keep the status quo. Keep us in your place. Breaks my heart when I think about it. I worked hard in this community, and we want us to come up, get educated. Our children doing this, our children doing that. And they're around here shooting in the mall something darn well. They ought to be home doing something constructive. Could have killed anybody. Could have killed children. Anyway, shooting. They'll never see the light of day. And I'm speaking about that, and I don't care who like it and don't like it. That's my feeling. And I'm entitled to that. I'm entitled to it. It's a shame and a disgrace that happened in our city. And that's all over. Girl called me from Atlanta. As I say, well, what are y'all doing down there? You got the West down in the family. It's all over. It's a shame. We can't allow that. We need to do something about breaking up these gangs. Like I said, I'm going to sure talk to the delegation. I'm going to call every one of them. And I'm going to see if they got some backbone. See if they got some backbone. You can't be having any gangs in here. Nobody's safe. So that happened one time. For the next week, there's another gang against each other. What are you going to do? Live in a community with nothing but gangs taking over? Like Al Capone and all them people back there during the 30s? You see the FBI. And we got to break it up, ladies and gentlemen. Our community. We got to keep things safe. The streets got to be safe for people. And how we do that? By raising our children. I know you go to just about every church down in Savannah. You don't have to see no children in Sunday school. God will hold the parents responsible for that. The Bible says, remember thy creator in the days of thy youth. Oh, you get old, God still can forgive you. Christ still accept you. But he didn't want you when you can do things for him. That's why the scripture says that. I ain't never been a perfect person, but I love Jesus. I can tell you that. Like I said, if I was perfect, God wouldn't have sent Jesus to nobody. That's what I'm thinking. And as long as I live, I will try to keep doing some things good. I'm trying to do some things good for my community. And I'm proud of my life that I had the opportunity to meet God's great leaders that he gave us. Thurgood Marshall, Martin Luther King, Constable Motley, and all the wonderful people who went into the courts to fight for justice, to fight for dignity, equality. And we got to have our children ready to move in on these jobs when things are happening. We can't do like those young men, those 4 young men. It's a disgrace. I know their mothers got to be feeling bad. That the pressure now is on them. They love their children. The pressure's on them. I don't know what they be thinking. Where were they thinking? Shooting like that. It's a shame and a disgrace. And I hope people will see that, and other young men will see that. But we got to have strong laws to prevent that. You know, in Georgia, for instance, they hang 500 black men. Did you know that, ladies and gentlemen? I see that over and over for the last 2 years on these shows. 500 black men just hung them, and nothing was done. And then in the center of the United States, people are arguing against the anti-lynching law. Can you believe that? We don't need no law. Just hang people to get ready. We don't need no law. You get back, just hang who you want to hang. Thurman, Thurman. I'm show you next month. I'm gonna show you the baby that he had, the woman, and she got real old, and he was giving her money and paying her college tuition and all that, and running for president, running around here and talk about segregationists. And then that's all the white men wanted the black women with, just to sleep with, just say it like it is. Her mother was working for Thorton, mama, when he was a young man in college, and he flew around and pregnant her mother. And he had that baby, and he took care of that baby. That woman It's in the 70s. Look just like him. I'm gonna show you all that next month. Show you him. He would go to the college to see her, but he didn't want nobody to see him. He would go to the president's office, and the president would send for her when she was in college. And she wound up being a teacher somewhere. And she said she didn't want to die with that on her mind. So she came on out several years ago that Psalm Thurman was her daddy. You understand? Oh my Lord. What a world we have. But we as a race of people, God has brought us a long way, from a mighty long way. We built this country on our backs, free. We finally got a white man, got a black man into the White House, and they were still trying not to make him black. My. They were still not trying to make Obama black and not born in America. And ladies and gentlemen, I got on my telephone and I called Hawaii myself. So help me, Jesus. And I asked for the Chamber of Commerce building. And I got some lady in there, and I talked with her, and I said, oh, man, there was all this mess going on in the country about Mr. Obama wasn't born in America. That was Trump trying to say. And she said, well, let him go with this foolishness. She said, tell me, I forgot the name of the paper. Get that paper that day, and you will see the babies that were born that night in this country and in the city. And he was one of the babies that were born in there. They knew that. They just couldn't have a black man president. They couldn't stand that. And he was a fine president to do what he did. He had dignity, one thing, he had decency. This man got no decency. But man gonna use a filthy word like that on the TV and children hear him. But man, had people say he got 34 felons. Mom, what do you mean by felons? They don't know what that word means. Mom, what you child asked, Mom, what do you mean by felons? How could he be president with that kind of character? And then you're trying to suffer other people. Suffering other people, like he did the first time when he was president, snatching those children out of mamas and had them, remember, down there from the border. Some of the children don't know whether they got their parents or not today. Remind me of slavery. Oh, they got all these single parents. Yeah, they started single parents. They kept breaking up back home. Send the mama this way, send the daddy this way, send the child this way. You read that book on Tom Calvin, I read. Child mama was sent when she was a 13-year-old child. The man sent the child one place, and the mama go another place, and the child cried all night long. 13-year-old child. Evil. Terrible. All these things we've experienced. And God has brought us a mighty, mighty long. And many of us don't show him our thanks to him and our appreciation of what God has done for the black race. He's given us a lot of great people. We got lawyers, dentists, all kinds of doctors, engineers, everybody. But you want to look at the color of a person's skin. That Dr. King said, judge a man on the contents of his character. Now, if you had to judge Mr. Trump's character, he's a millionaire. He got a terrible character. But this is the color of his skin. That's what made Trump stand out, the color of his skin. But he got no decency, he got no character. Anybody get on national TV and use a word like that? All that filth he did, paying a woman to go to bed with her, 80,000, don't talk about it. Lying that this election was stolen. The man got no character. And he had to be who's around him. My Lord. What a country. What a place. Well, it's about my time to hush up in the night, but I'm just carried away. I'm upset about all that shooting. And I hope, you have what you used to call copycats. And I hope them other fools, they got the other gangs. You better get out of them. You better get out of them. Because I'm sure if I live Monday morning, I'm getting on my phone, calling these people who represent us in this community. Come January, sponsor a bill against these labels. I don't know whether they got laws on against the gangs or not. But if they're not, they really need to enforce them. If we don't have no law, they need to put some on the books. Just shooting people. I just came, Lord have mercy. Could have shot a lot of people. All the bullets going this way and that against each other. 2 of them got shot. Get them well, put them in jail, put them where they need to be. For years, that's what they need to do with them. Well, all right, I come to the end of my journey here tonight. And I ask you to pray for me and the loss of my sister. I'm real heavy on that, on my heart right now. But I thank God for service that she did. 31 years of free labor every evening to that nursing home. And she would be so hurt, but people put their parents in the nursing home, never come back to see them. How could you do that? But she would cheer them up, comb their hair, wash their face, dress, do everything. 31 years, free. And on Saturday, she would go, she played the piano, she would go and have church service with them. And like I said at her funeral, when I spoke about her, and with these words, I've shut my mouth for the night. Here's what Jesus said. The harvest plentiful, but the labors are few. And she was one of the few laborers. And I said, now she's going home to rest, and she'll be waiting for her pay. And her pay will be everlasting life with Christ when he comes. So ladies, thank y'all for listening. Good night. And I hope to see y'all, if the Lord says so, next month. Thank you.
Like that.